There's been a marked increase in crime around Hillbrow, Berea and surrounding areas. The Johannesburg Property Owners and Managers Association says crime levels have gone beyond that of an insurrection. It adds the types of crime are inhumane and result in theft, physical abuse and murder. The association has called on law enforcement agencies and the government to intervene. For more on this, I'm joined by Angela Rivers from Johannesburg Property Owners and Managers Association. Thank you very much, Angela, for your time here on eNCA. Just firstly, the situation in the city centre, I understand, has gotten worse. We did get the crime statistics from the commissioner of the province yesterday, and he did mention areas in the CBD being one of the badly affected areas. Just tell me, in terms of hijacked buildings, how much does this exacerbate the problem?
So in our opinion, as the private stakeholders within the inner city, we feel that the hijacked buildings are they cause all the issues. Once the hijacked buildings are dealt with correctly, we believe that a lot of the criminal behavior will drop. And unfortunately, a lot of the hijacked buildings currently in the inner city are owned by the city of Johannesburg themselves or provincial governments.
So how do you suggest that they deal with this issue, especially because, as you're mentioning, the concern is that most of them are actually owned by the government?
Absolutely. So there's lots of different interventions that could be put into place, but the biggest one is by law enforcement and building inspections. I think if building inspectors actually went into these buildings and saw the state that they are in and the way that people are living, those buildings would be marked unlivable and should be knocked down in some cases. The infrastructure is totally damaged. And they have become a for criminals. So these buildings are spread throughout the city, and every time someone is mugged, hijacked, raped, these guys run into the buildings and they disappear. The police are even too scared to go into them sometimes.
And when you speak, or if... Apologies, you still wanted to say something?
So I wanted to say that, in the letter that we sent to the officials, we actually put in a case that happened 2 weeks ago in Hillbrow, where a security guard, a bouncer at a club was shot. The security chased him to a hijacked building. The guy ran into a building and another guy ran out. That's the photo that we're showing now of Casimir. As the security guard was chasing them into Casimir, another guy came out and shot the security guard. So in one night, we lost 2 security personnel. And that's just one Saturday night and one incident.
Are you getting any assistance? I mean, you say that police are too afraid to even go inside these buildings. What's government saying? Are you getting assistance at all about this issue?
So it's actually quite a controversial topic at the moment, because the city does have Problem Properties Task Team, which is supposed to include everybody from council, all the private sector, the public sector, so we can work together to get this terrible problem sorted out. And myself and my colleagues were actually kicked out of the meeting on Tuesday. So there's a little bit of, we're not happy at the moment. We're definitely not getting the support and the assistance that we need. And there's definitely no buy-in from the city at the moment.
Are you able to tell us exactly who kicked you out? Maybe we should get them on the show. Are you able to tell us exactly who kicked you out? Maybe we should get them on the show to tell us why they did that.
I would love to tell you, but I'm already in trouble with everyone. I read an email this morning where they apologized, but I mean, it's a bit late now when they had this whole meeting on Tuesday without us, where, a lot of us who have been in the inner city, I've been in the inner city for 17 years. So for me, literally on the ground knowledge of how these things are happening, and they're just not interested in listening or including us in anything.
What do you think is really going on? Do you think that, there are some in government and in police, whether it's your Metro or SAPS, who are assisting to harbour these alleged criminals, and maybe government is also, not having the willpower or the will, actually, to get rid of these hijacked buildings or change them into something else?
So corruption is huge. We truly believe that a lot of the reasons why these buildings are not getting sorted out is because someone is taking a backhand. It's a money-making setup. And the only people who are making money are the hijackers and the people who are working in council that are supporting them. I had a building that we've been trying to get a level 4 disconnection now for about 2 years. So a level 4 disconnection is where they come in and basically remove the infrastructure so that the building doesn't have any electricity anymore. And the guys just reconnected themselves. JMPD goes out there, SAPs go out there, they get rocks thrown. This is what we are told. But I can't believe that if I, as an individual, go and reconnect my water or my electricity myself, I can get fined or go to jail for touching the city's infrastructure. And yet building hijackers continuously reconnect water and electricity without any kind of, I've lost the word, but with any kind of legal influence at all, intervention. So yes, I believe there's a lot of within council that is supporting these building hijackers.
And it's quite crazy when you look at how much the province is, for instance, owing the city in terms of electricity and water. And then maybe you can attribute it to what's happening. So what's your next step now, Angela? What are you going to do next? Because, for instance, our understanding, I don't know what they do in those buildings, but I imagine if there's children there, they're not safe. Women are not safe. And even just the living conditions in general in those buildings are not safe at all. So what are you wanting to do next from here? Because it looks like you are not getting any assistance from the important stakeholders.
So we have found in the last, I'd say 5 or 6 years, that the only way to get council to really take us seriously is to write letters like this, be as present in the press as possible. I can assure you, every single time I've been interviewed, I get a phone call straight away. How can we help? What can we do? So our plan at the moment is to attack legally from the press, however we can. Just keep it out in the open, keep it vocal, keep the conversations going to put that pressure on council. The email that I got this morning was to say, if we want to, we can come back to the meeting. So I'm hoping that we will be able to go back to the Problem Properties Task Team meeting with open hands and with an understanding that we're there to help and not hijack their meeting, as I was accused of. But also the city needs to work with us. It's the only way to fix this problem is to work with the city. And we are willing partners. We will do anything to work with the city because our buildings are being affected by these hijacked buildings. Because you have a beautiful, brand new, refurbished building right next door to a slum. Those tenants, they literally, from walking from their building to the taxi rank, mugged, hijacked, raped, and then the guys disappear into the building and never to be seen again. And, we really need to be supporting the people who want to fix the city and not exclude us wherever every opportunity they get.
Well, thank you very much for your time. Hopefully, there's a solution that is found to this particular problem. And I think maybe we can assist even as media to find out exactly what's going on there. That was Angela Rivers from the Johannesburg Property Owners and Managers Association.